want to start by saying that brand advocacy is really nothing new. And in fact, if you look at print ads going back to the 1940s, you'll see that the familiar social media icons are everywhere. So, the Chesterfield Cigarettes fan page on Facebook, it was a big hit in post-World War II America thanks to celebrity endorsements from stars like Lucille Ball, even prior to her I Love Lucy fame. All it took was satisfied customers going online to tell their friends and family about the mild taste and the surprising health benefits of Chesterfield cigarettes for the brand to catch fire. And of course, Coke has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to harnessing the power of social media. Although you'll see that there's this inclusion of the MySpace logo, and that dates this ad a bit. All right, so I'll confess to doctoring these ads. But the point is that word-of-mouth marketing, it does go back to time immemorial, even if the whole social media phenomenon is relatively recent. Brands have always encouraged consumers to go tell your friends and share the word, even if they generally could only do that via one-on-one conversations. Well, now, of course, we live in a slightly different world, and there's another phenomenon that has ushered in the need for companies to focus on driving brand advocacy, and that's the declining trust in brand messages, the declining credibility of these messages. So a car manufacturer telling you, hey, be modern, buy Chrysler, that just doesn't cut it anymore. Consumers are paying a lot less attention to what brands have to say about their products and services, and as a result, as we see in these research findings, which aren't Gleansters, by the way, companies are spending less on traditional media, like 30-second TV spots, like print ads in consumer magazines. And so where's that money going? Well, they're shifting their investment dollars to earned media. And earned media, this is actually an old term, which seems to be gathering a lot of steam these days. And it really just simply refers to favorable publicity gained through promotional efforts other than paid advertising. Of course, mobilizing satisfied customers to participate as brand advocates it's something that we're seeing quite a bit these days. So we did publish some new research in the last month or two, a benchmark report on social media engagement, which is focused on brand advocacy, and we also published what we call a deep dive analyst report on specifically a specific aspect of mobile brand advocacy. And I believe that both these reports will be made available following today's webinar. So everyone can read. I'm not going to spend time walking through these reports. I'm also not going to bore you with a rundown of how we go about designing our surveys or the key performance indicators that we use to distinguish what we call top performers from everyone else. I'll just say that Gleanster is in the business of benchmarking best practices, and this means understanding how companies are able to achieve their desired business objectives by putting not only the right technologies in place, but also the right organizational resources and business processes and performance metrics. So this is one data point that we captured, and I just want to highlight this one key finding because I really think it's it came up front and center, and what we found is that 92% of top performers, compared to only 83% of everyone else, view identifying and engaging brand advocates as the way to maximize the value of their investment in social media. So I thought that was a fairly compelling research finding. What I thought I'd do is just share a few ideas, a few thoughts that I had as I began to think a bit about this presentation. So, and I think they're worth keeping in mind as you embark on the initiative to drive brand advocacy, or if you're looking to enhance the value of your existing system. So I want to start here with a guy named Sir Francis Bacon. He was a Renaissance era statesman, essayist, philosopher. He really secured his place in history by introducing the so-called scientific method. And it's a hypothesis. So we design experiments to test it. We analyze the results, and then we rethink the original thesis. And over the next 4 centuries, of course, Bacon's approach to scientific analysis really would deepen human understanding across all kinds of possible areas of investigation. And any parent who does school science fairs with their kids knows all about the scientific method. It really wasn't until about the 1940s that a professor of statistics named W. Edward Demings, he was probably the first to embrace the basic tenets of the scientific method in the context of business management. And this was all about industrial operations. He argued that companies could achieve better quality control if they recorded the number of product defects, analyzed why they happened, instituted changes, and then recorded how much quality improved, and then refined the process over time. And that made a big impact, especially in the automobile industry in Japan. And now, half a century later, we're seeing the scientific method, commonly known also as the plan, do, check, act cycle, being applied in the realm of marketing management, where with the advent of marketing automation platforms and new degrees of analytical rigor around customer data, companies are really embracing this as a way to improve their overall productivity of their marketing investments. And so it occurred to me, hey, why can't we sort of apply the scientific approach in the context of brand advocacy? And you know, I think it makes a lot of sense for companies to migrate from doing advocacy sort of on an intuitive and gut level basis, and really becoming a little bit more systematic in terms of how they identify, engage brand advocates, the way they measure the results, and then the way they refine the process over time. So you're really looking at sort of a closed loop process, or a recursive learning loop, as mathematicians call it. And the other point here is that there's really a fallacy that loyal customers are profitable customers, and there's also a fallacy that profitable customers are good brand advocates. In truth, you might be losing money from your loyal customers, and profitable customers may never recommend your brand. So you want to identify satisfied customers first of all, and you will also want satisfied customers who have a stated propensity for wanting to participate as a brand advocate. And really that's the importance of using the Net Promoter Score or a similar system to identify who those customers are. And of course that's a standard that we're seeing in most customer satisfaction surveys.